Good evening, Danvers. Welcome to the February 17, 2026 Select Board meeting. Can I have the Pledge of Allegiance, Dan?
Yes, certainly.
Please lead us.
join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
All right, at this time, can I have approval of the minutes of February 3rd, 2026?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Abstain?
Okay, opposed? Okay,
not
abstained.
opposed,
No,
abstained.
abstained, right, yep. Okay, at this time, we're going to go to new public business. The clerk will have her timer. Please go up to the podium and introduce yourself. Bill, go right up, thank you.
Good evening, Board of Selectmen. Bill Bates, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 4. And start out with thank you all for your service to our town. Appreciate it. I want to talk about the crosswalk signalization that I sent you, all of you, a memo this week about it, and also about the possibility of the Danvers Police Department having a traffic safety division. I figured where you're going to talk about your budget tonight and things are about to get it going on the budget, I should be here tonight. I'm seeking your support for a budgetary commitment to improve traffic and pedestrian safety in Danvers for the fiscal year 2027. We have some dangerous sidewalks. I'm sorry, strike that. We have some dangerous crosswalks in town in regard to vehicles and sight range for drivers and pedestrians. And in the year 2024, I believe we've had over 1,100 automobile crashes. And that number may be wrong. I tried to update it today, but I missed with Lieutenant Sullivan. The RRFB, the Rectangular Rapid Flashing Beacon, when placed at crosswalks, can increase motorist yielding rates by up to 98% and can reduce crashes up to 47%. And I sent you a copy of that one-page thing on the RRFBs. We need these at many of the crosswalks in town. I'm not going to say all of them, but some of them we definitely need them. The estimated cost is approximately $10,000 per location. Plus, now they make you update the ADA device, ADA situation. The devices run on solar power after they're installed. I believe with your support, we could encourage staff to even seek grants through the Massachusetts Safe Routes to School Department and others to help pay for these improvements. I would also encourage the board to commit to establishing a traffic division within the Danvers Police Department. We can do better as a town regarding traffic and pedestrian safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. And we all got that. That was good information. And did you ask the board members to maybe give us 5 dangerous crosswalks, right? If everybody could get...
And then that was a mistake because, you know, the Traffic
There's more.
Advisory Committee will be on that, and Mike's part of that. They're gonna help determine where the most dangerous ones are. But it's funny, we don't really have a list. If you ask anybody in town, where are all the crosswalks? There's no Excel sheet of crosswalks, and I think we should have one. So we'll get there.
Excellent idea. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? No, Bill? Okay, you can take a pass. All right, thank you. You want to comment on that? Yeah,
I'd
Mike.
like to comment on
Yeah.
his failure to participate. I'm thrown off.
I know, you're throwing us all off, Bill, tonight. All right. Okay.
Mike, maybe on the traffic advisory, Hazen and Maple. That should be the first one.
I could hang down there with the sign myself.
And you've been attending those meetings too, right? Which is good. Okay, good. We'll be waiting to hear for an update from you too.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. All right, at this time, a public hearing will be held under Chapter 140, Section 181, weekdays, including Saturdays, Chapter 136, Section 4, Sundays of the General, on the application of Costa Pizza LLC, DBA Craft Kitchen and Bar, 62 Maple Street, George Satsas, manager, for a 7-day entertainment license at that location. Who is here to speak? Please, introduce yourself and welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I'm George Satsas. I'm the owner of Craft Kitchen and Bar. we're here tonight because we're asking for an entertainment license to kind of help us booster some of our slower business days. Things we're looking to do are things like musical bingo, a trivia night, maybe a guy with a guitar in a corner. Probably start with maybe one day or maybe two. I don't think this is something that we want to do every night of the week. It's just something that it would be nice to have the option to be able to help us, like I said, build up a few of the slow nights and then maybe some special events, have somebody come in. As far as operating hours, this isn't, we're a restaurant first, we're not a bar, so it would be something that would be the winding down hours of our dinner time, and we'd probably be wrapping up about a half hour before we typically close.
Excellent. All right. Dee, do you have any questions?
Sure. Hours-wise, when you say half hour before you close, what exactly are we?
Yeah, I mean, I think the latest we're ever there is 11, so it's something that I would like to get at least the entertainment part of it done by 10:30, just so we have time to kind of clear the restaurant and the tables and get everybody out safely. And
Okay, so we're saying up to 10:30. And I saw in your application you said there could be live music, up to 2 people singing.
yeah, we
something
don't
like
have
that.
much space for more than that. So, I could see a guy with a guitar. I don't know, maybe a guy playing the guitar and one other guy, if anything. I don't think we really have space for anything more than that.
Okay, okay. And to you, Madam Chair, to maybe the clerk, have the abutter been notified? And I've never been there, sorry. What's
gotta
the
get you in there.
residential situation there?
There's nothing above. We did do a butter notification and a legal ad in the newspaper. So the abutters were notified
Okay,
through the mail. And then a newspaper ad was posted last week.
that was from the town.
The town posted, yes.
From the owner, have you notified, do people live around there?
So what we generally do is that it's the applicant's responsibility to notify the abutters. However, in this case, there were probably 50 or so abutters. So the applicant came to my office and we worked on them together, and I made sure they went in the mail to the abutters.
Okay. And no response, or did you get any?
I did not get anything, and I don't see anybody here.
Okay. And is this going to be seasonal, or you want it year-round?
Year-round would be good.
And you think, I had a question about frequency, you think you might start by once or twice a week and maybe expand depending on how it goes?
Yeah, I think like for now to start, we're trying to think of like a Monday or a Tuesday to maybe do a musical bingo or a trivia night. And then we just launched brunch last Sunday. So we were thinking maybe somebody with a guitar during brunch or some type of jazz brunch or some type of musical brunch.
Okay. And do the door typically stay closed with the windows, or?
Yeah, our doors are always closed. They just open up when a customer walks in or out.
And based on the map, it's going to be indoor only?
Yes, we don't really have a space outside for it right now. Hopefully in the future, though.
And the last question I had was any soundproof assessment, or did you, I don't know how that works. Like before you do it, you have an idea as to how the building is
Yeah, I mean,
equipped to.
we play like music over the radio now. I don't see it to be any issue. You don't even hear it in the kitchen, let alone outside the doors. I don't think it will be much louder than what we play as of now.
Okay. Okay. I think that's it for me for now, Madam Chair. I think the goal to support local business is always one that we strive for,
I
but at the
appreciate
same
that.
time, making sure that we do not disturb residents. So it's kind of like
Absolutely.
that balance. So thank
Absolutely.
you.
Wonderful, good. Mike?
Looks like you guys are doing okay. Every time I go by, it's quite a business going.
Yeah, thank God. We still hopefully have some room to grow between lunches and takeout and stuff like that. But yeah, the town's been super supportive and it's been great.
Yeah, it's a good location.
Thank you.
If in the event that a neighbor complained, are you going to be prepared to deal with that?
Yeah, of
I know
course.
it's inside, but I'm just,
Yeah, no, I mean, I would obviously do my best. I mean, I'm a restaurant owner. I have pretty thick skin. I hear complaints,
Yeah.
pretty frequently. And,
Yeah.
I try to smile and do my best to rectify whatever the problem is.
okay, all right. No, I'm all for it, so thank you.
Yeah,
Gardner?
appreciate it.
No, I don't have any questions. I'll have some conditions for the motion, but it's things he's already put in there, so.
Okay, thank you, Gardner. Dan?
Thank you. Hello, George.
Hello?
Clarification on the abutters, Madam Clerk.
Yes?
Where did you send notices to?
I,
I mean, it's downtown.
Right.
You've got Maple Street Housing. Did they get notified?
I got the list of abutters from the assessor's office for the abutting neighbors. I don't have a map showing, but I do have the list of the ones that were sent. I see Cherry Street, Maple Street, Cherry Street, Maple Street.
What number Maple?
I got 55, 49, 64, 50, 44, 48,
Those are all
32.
commercial, heading that other direction from Maple Street Housing. And I would assume Maple Street Housing fits into our
I have
parameters of distance.
83, and 90. I got Maple Street Congregational Church, DYN property.
Okay, so it seems you did reach out to those that are residential. Okay,
Yes.
thank you. George, what are the hours of your brunch that you're planning on having?
10 to 3 on Sundays.
10 to 3, okay. I'd like in the application or in the motion that we have a definitive time of the events. You say closing by 10:30, but what time would you start?
Probably like 8 to 10.
8 to 10 or 8 to 10:30?
Let's say 8 to 10:30.
And on Sundays, 10 to 3?
We'd probably go a little bit later, like maybe 12 to 3. I think that's usually when we start to kind of fill up.
So Sundays, 12 to 3
Yeah, I would say 12 as a start time to 3 as a end time.
on Sunday? Okay, because that's a separate license that you're applying for.
Oh, I did not know that. I
Yeah,
apologize.
Sunday's a separate license. Monday through Saturdays would be 8 to 10:30.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just whoever makes the motion, if we can include that. And you're right, it's a very small area, but you're limited to no more than 2 people, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's all the questions I have, thank you.
Excellent. Yep, those are my questions, too. 2 people, the abutters being notified with the housing, for sure. And the people, the kitchen door, does that stay open? Is there a window? Because that's my concern, the people in back on Cherry Street, too.
So I don't know if you've been in the building, but there's a dining room, then it goes to a kitchen door, that's a swing door, but then the dining room goes kind of far back to where the takeout is. That back door is more where the takeout section is. So it's
Okay.
probably a good, I don't know, 50 feet from the dining
So
room.
does that open up to like the back of Cherry Street?
It opens up kind of like in the alleyway behind where,
Okay.
what is that, Maple Street Cafe is.
Okay.
Like that parking lot right behind there.
All right, yep. Okay, good. That was my concern, too, is just the soundproof that you brought up, Dee, which was good. And the hours, 8 to 10:30 and 12 to 3. So do I have a motion? Gardner?
I move first that we accept the application of Chapter 140, Section 181 for weekdays, including Saturdays, with the following conditions, that there's no more than 2 performers or hosts, which you said that was the case, and music will be between the hours of 8 and 10:30, and then for consistency, that there'll be no outside amplification. That goes with other,
PM.
we do that.
Sure.
Okay.
We assume that's PM?
Yes, I'm sorry,
10
PM.
PM? Okay.
Yep.
10:30 PM, Gardner? Okay. And I'm sorry, this is a public hearing. Did anybody in the public have any questions? Bill, I'm sorry. You do? See, I knew it. My apologies, Gardner.
No, no worries.
Bill Bradstreet, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 1. In the downtown area, there are some second-floor residences, I believe. When you notified everybody, was it just at street level, or was it the unit holders
There are no people above this location.
That location, but in the area
In the
of
back.
that
What
location.
he's thinking.
No, there really is no, there's a business next door, and then the other side is a first level as well.
Okay. Okay. I was just concerned where sound does travel, and there are, in certain areas down there, apartments on the second floor, that they were notified. Obviously,
It would be the owner, it would be the owners of the property, not necessarily a renter of an apartment, right?
okay. So renters would have to notify the owner, who would have to, okay.
So if I may, Madam Chairman, for clarification, listening to the addresses, Nick Brizzuto was notified because he's the owner of 4450. There were residents moving in upstairs, but they weren't notified, just Nick was.
Well, the owner of the property would
Right.
be notified,
I'm
right?
just clarifying that.
Well, that was, again, that was my concern. Don't want to hear about it afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions?
Move to
Okay,
close
go.
the public hearing.
Second,
Okay,
Then back to my motion. The
motion,
first one was
please.
for the
Yep.
weekdays and Saturdays, from the times from 8 PM to 10:30, limited to 2 performers or hosts, and no outside amplification.
do I have a second?
second,
All in favor?
Any discussions?
Yeah,
But,
any discussions, yeah. Go ahead.
I'm just curious, and pardon my naivete here. Why are we doing 8 o'clock? Why not 7 or, like, when do people have dinner?
I'm a restaurant first. I want my diners to have enough time to like experience their dinners without music, really. It
Oh,
just-
okay. So the 8 o'clock works for you?
Yeah, I think so.
He
That's
offered
usually,
it.
that's usually when we start to wind down. So
Okay.
I don't want to upset somebody who's having a quiet dinner either. And, I think that if it's known that if it's a later dinner, there could be some entertainment,
Perfect, that makes sense. I just wanted to
No,
know.
that's
so
good. Yeah, thank you,
Thank
Dave.
you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
And Madam, I took 2 motions. I separated the motions. I'm assuming the public hearing was just as one. You don't want to do public hearing on the second
No.
motion, do you? Okay.
no.
Then I move that we accept the application under Chapter 136, Section 4 for Sundays, as presented with the following conditions. Music be limited between noon and 3 o'clock on Sunday, that no more than 2 performers or hosts, and no outside amplification.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Well, good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Moving right along, the board will hear a report by Weston and Sampson regarding the transfer station. Very excited about this. This is good. Very, very good material presented, too. Thank you. You mind just speak into it, please? Thank you.
Thank you. We did a report a few years back, and we updated it for this meeting, but we have a little presentation which hopefully will hit the salient points. I'll run the projector, I hope.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you to members of the board. Happy to be in front of you here tonight to talk about the assessment we did on the Danvers transfer station. So just quickly here's an aerial photo showing the facility. Next slide, Mike. All right, so by way of history, the transfer station was built in the late 80s following closure of the town landfill. It's been privately operated since its construction. The town's only role in the facility was operating the scale, which happened until 2011. The existing license, maintenance of the facility, logistics are all handled by now Reworld, formerly Covanta. I apologize, I'm going to call them Covanta throughout this presentation because I'm still not used to the name change. But overall, this is a valuable solid waste asset for the town. It currently generates revenue that we'll talk about on the next slide, and it's important to consider the future of the facility prior to the end of the current contract. So next slide, Mike. Go back one, actually. I think we skipped one. All right. So Reworld is the current managing entity through today. The agreement with them is valid until 2028. The town receives annual payments of $100,000 from Reworld, and additionally, there is I'll call it a preferred rate on town MSW that goes through the facility. One other note, I'll use the terms MSW and C&D throughout this presentation. MSW is municipal solid waste. It's your typical household trash. C&D is construction and demolition debris, so you're talking things like wood, siding, drywall, concrete, things along those lines. So just so you know what those two terms are as we go through the presentation. I'll also note that the current curbside collection contract expires in 2028. That's through Republic, but a detailed evaluation of the curbside program wasn't really within the scope of our assessment. We were focusing on the transfer station itself and next steps for it coming the end of the current contract in 2028. All right, so on this slide, we give kind of a regional snapshot of some of the solid waste facilities in the general vicinity of Danvers. Danvers right in the middle with the big orange star. Most of these facilities are transfer stations. There are 3 incinerators located north of Boston. 2 of them are owned and operated by Wheelabrator. 1 is actually by Reworld. And on this, it may be a little bit hard to see on the projector, but the red squares are municipally run facilities, while the green circles are privately run facilities. So there's a mixture of both within the general vicinity of Danvers. All right, so for the municipal transfer stations, most of those accept town trash only. It's often as a additional benefit alongside a curbside collection program for residents of the town, overflow trash, miscellaneous recycling materials that didn't fit in the bin, things along those lines. Peabody, Newbury, and Lynn are operating under a similar model to what you have now, with a town-owned transfer station that's being operated by a private party. Very few of the town-run facilities take in materials from non-residents. The only one that I'm aware of is Winchester, that takes in waste from outside contractors, junk haulers, things like that. It's also worth noting that above and beyond the facilities shown there, there are 2 large C&D, so that's construction and demolition waste facilities that are coming online in the next few years. One's in Gloucester, one's in Georgetown. They've been moving through the permitting process for facility operation. So we expect that they'll be up and running relatively shortly, and that'll add some additional C&D capacity to the market beyond what's shown on the map that we presented. So our evaluation focused on 3 options for the facility. The first one is continuation of the current model, what you're doing now. Contract out to a private waste company to operate the facility with some sort of cost-sharing agreement with the town to bring in revenue. The other 2 options we looked at were the town taking over management of the facility. There are 2 options we looked at under that, which is 2 and 3 here. Option 2 is you continue to use it in its current capacity, taking in MSW, household trash. The third option would be getting a modification to your current Mass DEP permit to allow it to take in C&D materials. It's a different waste stream with different financials that go along with it. Currently, the facilities, it's tight. It's a relatively small site, relatively small building. The layout would only support one or the other. So there's really not a great option to have both MSW and C&D moving through the facility. So looking at the current agreement that you have with Reworld, the $100,000 per year may be a bit on the low side, but keep in mind it's boosted by the preferred rate on in-town solid waste disposal. We reached out to all of the major waste companies within the general area, and across the board, there was interest in the facility. At the time that we did this report, the biggest need that we heard from these various vendors was a need for increased C&D tonnage, and so it's looking at that third option of changing your permit to take in those materials. But as I noted, with 2 new C&D facilities coming online, there's likely to be more competition in the market there, and there may be less desire to have another outlet for these companies for C&D materials. So should the town continue with the current model, you can either direct negotiate with solid waste companies or go through an RFP process. Solid waste is a little different from typical procurement, so you have a little bit more wiggle room there in terms of how you engage the next operator of the facility. Through those negotiations, you may be able to increase the annual fee. You can also negotiate the favorable disposal rate in theory. So there are, multiple things that can be negotiated with whoever the next party is for the transfer station. All right, so next slide, Mike. All right. So looking at in-house operation of the facility. The advantage of in-house operation is that the town would have greater control over the facility. You folks would be running it. Everything about the day-to-day would run through the town. But that's also a challenge. All the logistics would be on the town. Staffing would be on the town. All the associated costs would be on the town, as well as conformance with the current Mass DEP permit, reporting, et cetera. So just want to make clear up front that taking over operation of the transfer station isn't a simple process. There's a lot that goes into that, which is why in general these waste companies are interested in it. It's what they do. It's their bread and butter, so they're well positioned to handle all of those challenges. All right. So next couple slides are going to be on costs. These are a little bit difficult to convey, so I'll do my best. If you have any questions on this, obviously let us know at the end. But starting off, from a cost perspective, major investments will be needed for capital items. We spell out some of those in the next slide. But to offset both those capital costs, staffing, and utilities, all the other costs that go along with the facility, you charge people at the door to drop off trash. As you saw on the slide showing the map, there's a lot of regional competition here. It's not an easy market, especially for a municipality to be competing with the private facilities that have full control over the waste stream. When they take it in, they can get either preferred rates at its ultimate disposal facility or it goes to one of their own facilities. So generally, they're better positioned, kind of taking the trash all the way from when it enters the door to where it goes to its final home. One other note, if the town took over operation of the facility, you may lose the current preferential pricing you have for Danvers solid waste. So a little bit more detail on costs. Facility staff, you're going to need 6 of them likely, with benefits and wages to pay. There are a whole slew of equipment needs, loader, scale, trucks, trailers, et cetera. That's all itemized out in the report in a little bit more detail. There's facility upkeep and maintenance, utilities, and then there are also transportation costs. The trash will ultimately need to go to a final end facility, an incinerator or a landfill. So the town will have to pay at the door to get it into that final facility. The amount annually that you would have to pay, it'll depend on how much trash moves through the facility, but we're talking on the order of millions. So something to keep in mind, above and beyond just the staffing, capital costs, and everything for the building itself, a significant cost driver is the transportation and ultimately disposal at the end facility of these materials, costs which will have to be borne by the town. As I mentioned as well, administration of all of this would be on the town. So there's a lot of logistics, negotiation with haulers, with the receiving facilities, and a slew of other things that would be the responsibility of the town if you were to take it over. Next slide, Mike. Okay. So if we boil all the numbers down, at a anticipated market rate regionally for MSW of $125 a ton, that's what we expect generally in the region facilities will be charging to take in the materials. All of the costs that we outlined on the previous slide would lead to a $3.7 million deficit. It's significant. In order to break even, the town would have to charge $176 per ton at the door, which is significantly higher than the estimated regional rates. It's tough to be competitive with some of those private haulers. So as a result, ultimately this seems to have some limited financial viability. Next slide. Switching gears quickly to the C&D option, all the costs are generally the same here. It's a difference of what material you take in the door. And ultimately, based on what we saw for current market rates in 2024 when we wrote the report, an even greater deficit is expected compared to MSW. And with those two large facilities coming online, it's likely that that gap gets even bigger. So the rates that you would have to charge to take in C&D materials are even less competitive with the regional market to reach a break-even point. I'll note that no other towns regionally that I'm aware of really have this approach of operating a transfer station that's taking in only C&D materials. It's really limited to folks in the private sector processing those materials and taking them in. So general summary of options 2 and 3, so town taking over management of the facility, they appear to have limited viability from a financial perspective. There's logistic concerns, capital needs, staffing needs, and those are all going to be significant challenges if you do elect to move forward with the town running the facility. As I mentioned, you also may lose your preferential rates on town MSW, further increasing the costs if you take over the facility yourselves. So as a result, we recommend that you maintain your current model of partnering with a outside vendor for management of the facility. As I mentioned, this can be done either through an RFP process or through direct negotiation. For next steps, if you guys do elect to move forward with this, we'd recommend that we reach back out to some of the area waste haulers. It's been a couple of years since we last talked to them. I'm not expecting that they won't be interested, but there has been some changes in the market since we last spoke. Additionally, the earlier you can begin this process, the better. We recommend at the absolute worst, you start it by the end of 2026, but the earlier that you can do it, the easier it will be for the various waste companies to come up with competitive proposals. They have procurement needs for equipment and otherwise that will have to be baked into their proposals ultimately to you. So the sooner that this can kind of be put out for consideration by these entities, the better pricing you would ultimately get at the end of the day. And understanding we went through that fairly quickly. Open for any questions you may have. Mike and I are here to answer questions or concerns you may have.
We also have Rob Dever here, if anybody has questions for Rob. We will open it up to board members for questions. That was a great presentation. Took a lot of time to read through this and try to understand it. So I will start with Dan. Do you have questions, please?
I just have a comment.
Yep.
I wonder why we went through this process. I mean, it's obvious that if we took over running it, we don't have the staff, we don't have the experience, we don't have the ability to set rates that are non-competitive. So, thank you for the presentation.
Of course.
I didn't learn anything.
Mike?
Thank you. Yeah, I really enjoyed the presentation, and it was very clear on how you spelled it all out. How much material are we taking in? Because besides the town material, Covanta brings in other material, correct?
Correct.
So do we have the ability to take more in?
You could, but the issue that you have with that is for each additional ton you take in at the facility, you need to send it to an ultimate disposal location. So you'll get more money coming in the door on the front end, but you're paying it on the back end to send it to the incinerator or landfill at the end of the day. For 2020, 6,700, call it, tons of Danvers MSW came through the facility. Outside residential was 7,600 or so, and that's from residential. That's residential MSW, not from commercial haulers. Commercial haulers brought in another 65,000 tons of material. So the vast majority of the material came in was from those private haulers, but you're looking at a general total from 2020 through 2022 is all pretty consistent of the high 70,000 tons to low 80,000 tons.
And the other haulers, are they other communities?
Some of them are. There are other facilities or other communities that ReWorld works with. So some of that material went through the transfer station, and then the rest of it is commercial MSW. So things like junk haulers, contractors, things along those lines. Or private haulers, in theory, that, service larger apartment buildings, things like that.
Okay, like condominiums would have a private hauler and they would come there, okay. Yeah, I guess I was wondering if we could take more in, can we make more money?
So you're limited by your permit, but also it winds up being a little bit of you're chasing it on one end and paying it out on the other. So, it's difficult to scale it up that way for you as a municipality. It's easier for these folks that have existing contracts with other towns or whatnot to take in more material that's from outside of Danvers, but it's a little bit more of a challenge.
Covant is taking the hit on all the labor,
Yep.
equipment, et cetera.
Yep, and they're ultimately sending it to their own facilities.
Right, okay. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Ghana?
Hi, thank you. A couple of things I just want to get clear in my head. There are two operators at the transfer station. If I use the wrong terminology, I apologize. There's the management company, Covanta, who manages the scale house, the building, the loader that's pushing it into the big trucks, so on and so forth.
Yep.
The permits. And then there's Republic, who picks up the trash at my house, drops it off at the transfer station. Which of those two is responsible for getting the trash out of that transfer station into whatever incinerator or disposal? Which, is it Covanta or is it Republic?
That's covered by ReWorld or Covanta.
Covanta, okay. So basically, the only thing, I don't want to say the only thing, the thing that Republic does is picks up the trash at my house, drops it off the transfer station, and then they're done.
Yep.
Okay, great, thank you. So that, and the question is, why did we do the report? I think that the report was started ahead of time, but I think a lot of questions came up during the recent trash strike.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people had misinformation about who runs this transfer station. Is it the town? Is it Covanta? Who's responsible for pickup? So on and so forth. And I think coming into this job, the town manager did a really good job managing what a lot of towns couldn't in a successful manner. So Republic actually doesn't make money from the transfer process, other than the fact that they drop off and they are just paid. We pay them.
Correct.
Or they are paid to do this.
Yep.
The town pays them to do this service.
Yep.
They don't sell the trash. They don't sell the recycle. They're out of that business. That's Covanta that does it. That's the
Correct.
relationship. Okay. And you said there's a preferred rate for Danvers, built in, baked in. And so, and what was, I think it was like, is it $1.50 discount, or what was the difference between the preferred rate and the non-preferred rate?
We took a look at rates from 2021 up through actually 2026. The other towns that were contacted were Beverly, Burlington, Reading, and Wakefield. 2026, we had limited data because it's the start of the new year. So let's look at 2024. In 2024, you folks were paying $87.29, whereas your neighbors were paying on average $101.30. So it's about $14.
So not only do we get the $100,000 right off the top annually, we get the delta between the two prices times the tonnage that we bring in.
Essentially, yes. So for those other facilities that are sending their material to the final facility, they're paying more to that ultimate receiving facility than you folks do. So it's one of the advantages of having Covanta able to send it to their own facility. They give you better rates.
For the municipal trash, is it only Danvers municipal trash coming in?
There is municipal trash from other towns coming into it. It's a relatively comparable tonnage.
Okay.
But that preferred rate
But
is
they
for
pay the higher
your
rate.
trash.
Okay, they pay the higher rate.
Yep.
Okay. Because when I use the transfer station probably once a month.
Yep.
I have a little service trailer in my truck, bring stuff up there. So when I pull through, they don't ask me if I'm a Danvers resident. So I'm assuming they don't do it at the micro level where I pull up on the scale and they charge me a different rate than they might charge some guy from Saugus.
Yeah, so from my understanding, at the actual gate, it's primarily residents from Danvers that would be taking it in. Where you have that differential pricing is in, the larger
Okay.
hauling coming into the facility.
Okay, and in the calculation of trying to determine whether we could privatize, and maybe it's in here and I just didn't see it, did we determine if Danvers were to privatize the collection, how many trucks would we need to service Danvers in a 5-day period, ourselves? How many trucks would we have to purchase, and not only trash trucks, but also recycle trucks?
So I don't believe we looked into that. We can definitely check that. It'll be based on kind of your current hauling routes and what you have through Republic. So it'll wind up being a comparable number of vehicles that you would need.
And I don't want you to chase that number down. I think you've demonstrated the risks and the deficit in cost.
Yep.
Because as we were discussing, this is a last mile issue, which is to say it's not about managing the scale house so much, managing the facility, the building, the work there, even buying our own trucks and accepting trash in Republic. It's what do you do to get that trash out of there? So the risk will always be in that situation, what are the incinerators and other disposal people going to charge us?
Correct.
To do that work. And so the carting out is
Yep.
the unknown factor, but you've demonstrated that options B and C are just not financially feasible and introduce the risk of not being able to control costs.
Yep. At the end of the day, the large hauling companies are better able to negotiate this because they're the market players. For a municipality to be competitive with them is challenging.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of these facilities in similar towns, it's a relatively small scale, taking in that trailer a month, and just an additional benefit to the town rather than an attempt to make money.
Thank you. And I'll ask through you to the town manager, will a form of this be put on our website?
So we, excuse me, the report was put on the website as part of the meeting materials.
Great.
And yes, I just made myself a note to have the presentation added as well.
And the reason is, I think it's a very legitimate question for someone to say, based on Republic's, the strike from Republic last year, why don't we do it ourselves? Is it cost effective? Having it someplace on the DPW website or someplace that you can point to and say, because, and here's the numbers that support, no, we won't want to do this. But thank you very much. I appreciate the thoroughness.
Of course.
D?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the presentation. That was definitely helpful, very more helpful than the package. It was really confusing. I wasn't sure what I was reading. This is all new to me, so pardon me. I'm a new board member, never had a presentation about this before. I have a few questions. The first one being Weston and Sampson. Are they like to you, Madam Chair, are they like a contractor that's helping us do an assessment, and they have nothing to do with Covanta? Is that correct?
Correct, yeah. And you can tell them a little bit about Weston and Sampson if you.
So we're an engineering consulting company. We do work kind of throughout the eastern seaboard, primarily in New England. A lot of our work is with similar municipalities to yourself, doing wastewater, water, solid waste, kind of you name it on the civil side of the equation. We have folks internally who handle that. So, yeah, we do engineering design work and consulting like this to help towns make tough decisions.
Okay, so your assessment was based on the information you got.
Correct.
And
It
your
was-
professional judgment, and
Yep.
that's how you came up with these recommendations.
Yep, so it was based on the conversations we had with other municipalities with information provided by DPW, and then from, our experience doing this work throughout the state.
Okay, thank you.
And if I may, municipal solid waste and trash is a specialized area. So between, I mean, if you guys want to offer between the two of them, how many years of experience talking trash? I think it's important to hear because it is a very specialized area. And so, I mean,
Yeah, I'm at
Just
16,
for the
so I don't
trash?
quite have that
Just for the
many.
trash?
just trash, been
Okay, just dealing with trash, okay.
Okay,
in 16, so.
thank you. I wasn't born yet.
I wasn't either.
So when you talk about the 3.4 million deficit, that includes capital improvements, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Over a 10-year payment period. So overall, I want to say our costs for that were somewhere in the 10 million range, plus or minus. It's in the report, I can't remember the exact number, but that would be amortized over a 10-year period. So you'd have annual payments of about 10% of that every year.
Okay, and then after the 10-year, we will get hopefully in
We'd
the
own
green
the
and start
equipment.
making
Yep.
profit?
Well, no, the differential from just the capital improvements, that's not the most significant cost here. Ultimately, the biggest cost, as Gardner mentioned, is getting it out of the facility and getting it into an incinerator. That was by far the greatest cost driver. So even after that 10-year period where you've paid off all of your equipment and facility upgrades and all of that, you're still going to have that annual fee to get it into the incinerator, which is going to cost on the order of millions. So that is a greater contributor to the overall cost than just purchasing the equipment and upgrading the building.
Okay. Now, the building operating now are things like scale. Are they owned by Coventa or they owned by the town? So the only thing we have there as the town is the land?
You have the land in the building itself, but yep, the scale is owned by Covanta, and then, obviously all the management of the facility, all the upkeep and whatnot is also on them.
So we'll have to purchase all of that.
Correct. Yep, new trucks, new loaders, any other facility upgrades, the electricity going into the facility, all of that would be on the town rather than on Covanta or Reworld as it is currently.
I mean, we have Danvers Electric, so we have all of that.
Right, exactly.
Now, the 100,000 that the town gets, is that per year?
Yes.
And has it been like that? Was it like a fixed thing or is it adjusted with inflation? Because
Is that
for what
Rodney?
I know, the price of my trash went up.
Yeah.
Rodney, do you want to, Rob, please answer his question? Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair, Rodney Conley, Finance Director. So when it was renegotiated a couple of years back, it was a flat 100,000 to increase annually by CPI, which is the same deal we struck with the tonnage cost for us. It increases by CPI every year as well.
Consumer Price Index.
Up to 2028. Okay. And prior to the 100,000, and you may or may not know, from 2 years ago, what was it? Do we know what it was before?
It was a price per ton, and I believe we are making more now based on the 100,000 adjusted by CPI than we were by the tonnage.
Okay.
And the other concern is that that makes it a stable revenue source for us, as opposed to $1 per tonnage, which they could at any time just decide to divert, and we'd lose that money. So, yeah.
Okay. And this might be getting into the needy. You may or may not have the answer. Do we know how much profit Coventa is making there?
Do not, nope.
A lot.
They keep all of that information very close to their chest, so no, we did not.
But,
There's a guy with no neck that'll give you that answer.
But he won't.
but we have information about how much tons of trash goes there. So the reason why we don't know is we don't know how much they use for it, how much it costs them to incinerate and things
We don't
like
know
that.
their
Like,
operating
we don't know their
costs
operating costs.
or-
That's why.
Right.
So we might be able to estimate how much is going in, but we will not necessarily know how much they're spending to.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah, and I mean, in general, it's an opaque market. All of these various vendors are not going to provide any of the information that would be needed to really accurately calculate that. They're still in business, they're still making money, but how much, we can't say.
Okay. When do we have to make a decision to start any negotiation for a renewal contract if this ends in 2028?
The sooner the better. Our absolute latest would be end of the calendar year, but we'd recommend you come to a decision in the next few months, say, just to get that process going as quickly as possible. Gives more time to get good numbers from the various vendors you'd be reaching out to. And you don't want to be in a situation where you're scrambling last minute to try to get this out on the street and get good numbers in. The more time you can give, the better.
Okay. And based on your experience, your 55 years experience between both of you, how many companies do we have that we can chase out there?
There's
How
4 or 5 big
competitive?
ones. Yeah, the full list of folks we reached out to was in this. I can't remember if it was 4 or 5, but it's in that.
In the presentation, you said Casali, Waste, Republic, and Mellow, right? You spoke with,
Yeah.
yeah. But what about
Yep.
like Win, what about Win Waste?
Yep, they could.
You know,
They may be interested, and there's more consolidation in the market.
yeah,
Yep.
they're big.
Some of the haulers and some of the disposal folks that are down south have moved up into this area, so by the time you get out there, there may be more people that are interested. It'd be important to make sure that whoever you get can really do the job, though.
Okay. Now, if we went the route of taking over the transfer station and then try to take over the hauler that picks up the trash too, would that offset some of the costs?
It may, but you then will have additional equipment needs, additional staffing needs, and in general, towns are getting out of the hauling side of it. I know the recent Republic strike was, a challenge for many of these North Shore communities, but in general, insurance as well for these vehicles. There's a lengthy lead time on getting trucks nowadays as things are getting increasingly automated. There are a number of barriers there that similarly to the transfer station, and again, we didn't do a detailed dive into this, but generally I wouldn't recommend that you look to take over the
hauler part of it.
pickup and hauling side of it either. Because, it's going to be tough for the town to be competitive with these companies that do it professionally.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
20 years ago, it was a different market. More towns.
Speak
Nobody
in,
at home
speak-
can
yes.
hear you.
Can you speak in, hon? Yeah, thank you.
I'd say about 15 to 20 years ago, it was a different marketplace. Cities and towns could do it a lot more competitively. The marketplace has really changed due to the cost of vehicles and equipment and other things. So we're seeing a lot of communities look to go the other way.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you. It's just that it almost seems like the price of getting rid of the trash keeps going up and up and up too. And we think
It's a
maybe.
commodity, and there's not many disposal sites.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Great presentation. I had to read it through like 3 times. So from what I'm reading, I did Google you guys, the engineers, and you've been doing this for a while. So we have the 3 options: partnering with a private company, operation, in-house operation transfer station, and an in-house operation of transfer station with a partner too. So there's those 3. My questions that's what I was going to bring up is, on the sample, it said Casala, Waste, Republic, and Mellow. I mean, I know of Win, you see them, they're always advertised of games, Bruins
Yep.
and everything. They're big, but from UK or something, or wherever they came from. And then Capital Waste, right, is another one.
Does a lot of work in Boston.
Yep, so,
Yeah, there are some other options out there.
Harvey is
Yep.
required.
can you speak in, hon? I'm sorry. Thank you.
My voice does not carry.
That's okay.
There's a number of them also that are in the state. Harvey has acquired 3 or 4 firms, and they've grown significantly by rolling up some smaller firms under there. And they're backed by a Houston company, and I can't remember the name of it off the top. So there's a handful of.
This was very good. Let's see, I just want to go through my notes for a minute. In the sample, we didn't bring in Middleton. Does Middleton have their own? Right, Middleton, Massachusetts. Did you know that?
I don't know what they do.
They do, and they're a neighbor. You know, you, okay,
Just straight.
Okay.
all right. And tell me about what you're talking about in here with Gloucester. So Gloucester is what? If Gloucester's doing it, right, we've got our.
I'm happy to
town-
tell.
Yeah, our town manager.
She could probably tell you.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the
Yeah,
Gloucester?
it's not, it's privately run. So it's the old Hilt site, taken over now by Eastern Waste. They have moved and they're going through the permitting process to open a construction and demolition debris site. So again, it's private property, privately run.
Gloucester, though,
It just, it's based in Gloucester, but it's not city-owned land in any way, yeah.
But
It's not
Gloucester's-
affiliated
but
with the city.
Gloucester's running it?
No, no, no. It's not affiliated with the
at
city
all.
at all.
Oh, okay.
It's located in Gloucester.
Oh,
It's
okay.
privately owned land, privately run facility.
They are too, right? Okay.
Yeah, and I will just add I do have a strange interest in the economies of trash.
Too, I'm kind of, I didn't.
And I will say a piece that the engineers didn't dive into, but as another side of this topic is the permitting through the DEP in the direction of the disposal of waste that Massachusetts is going as, and it goes back to that last mile. Fewer and fewer places to ultimately get rid of your trash and fewer ways to ultimately get rid of it will be driving the costs, and the permitting process is long and complicated. I would say the group that's going through that process in Gloucester, Eastern Waste, I probably had my initial conversations with them probably 4 years ago, and they're not quite permitted yet. So when you talk about drivers of cost, people don't want trash in their backyard, and people no longer want our trash. They don't want us sending trash to them as well. So and that, when you think long term, and I was thinking about this when you spoke about your, in 10 years, even if we paid off our capital, the chances are there'll be even fewer places for the trash to finally land, driving costs continually up and up and up.
More and more.
I just think that, like, Danvers is a good location, and I think Wally will say this too, that, like, a lot of the truckers, like, from what I understand, when you go there and you see them gonna dump or whatever, there's a huge line, an hour and a half. To me, this area is kind of good and centralized, so to me, competition is good. Go ahead, finish saying what you're gonna say.
The only thing I was going to say is the state is unlikely to permit any new ultimate receiving facilities, incinerators. There are not going to be any new landfills in Massachusetts. More and more waste regionally is going out by rail. Ohio, Midwest, even some as far as Alabama, which is going to be a continuing trend in the market. It's going to get sent further and further afield as the years go on. So that'll also further drive up costs, in the decades to come, as it has to go to the middle of the country here.
And the incinerators close here are Saugus, right, which you have Saugus? And then you
Haverhill.
have one in Haverhill, which is the Cavanta, you call it Reworld, or?
Yep.
I didn't know that, yeah, because I've seen it, I've seen the stack. Yeah, okay, yeah, interesting, because, oh, there is one in Southeast?
CMAS.
Okay. Let's see, just my notes. When they say things in here, when you were saying the C&D materials could not be processed due to site constraints, waste bin materials, asphalt, brick, concrete, wood, wallboard, et cetera. I mean, you can take some of those concrete blocks, but it's just the ones without the paint and everything, right?
So under the current regulations, there's kind of, I'll say, 2 steps in the C&D process. You can either take it in as a transfer station where you just take it and send it to a processing facility, or you can process it yourselves. DEP has set amounts of certain items that need to be removed from that waste stream. It's things like, painted concrete block, clean gypsum wallboard, wood, things along those lines that in theory have a beneficial use for them. So the current rate is in the 20% range. It's going up in the next year or two to 25%. It's going to keep going up from there. What that means is more and more of the incoming C&D will have to be processed to meet the regulations. So it's going to have to go to a more complicated facility that has more space, separate lines to either hand pick materials out or, magnets to remove metals, things along those lines. So all that you would be able to do at your current facility is act as a transfer station, where you're taking it and sending it to one of those other facilities. There's not sufficient space with what you have available to realistically meet the Mass DEP diversion percentage goals. So you would always be I'll say a middleman in the market, taking it just to another facility to get processed, which further, complicates the viability of it economically.
Okay, no, that's good. I don't know, I look at it differently. I look at when you put about the deficit, I don't want to give it up. I don't know how my other board members think, because, I know that we have the land and we have the building. I always think of investment. Use the building that we have now. We're not talking about recyclables, right? And then put up another building beside it, if we have enough land. I know you got to go through all the permits and the Mass DEP, construction debris in one half of the building, residential waste in the side of the building, and use the existing building for recyclables. I just think I hate to give it up. I don't want to give it up. So if we have time, you said till 26, to the end of 26, you want to get things going. And you want to get the bids out to these partners, we're saying?
The next step would be to reach back out to the various area waste companies. And then, realistically after that, the decision will be to either direct negotiate with them or to go through an RFP process. So either way, that'll take, some time to negotiate with the various folks involved and either get proposals in or, have a dialogue back and forth, kind of haggling over the benefits and the rates that they'll give.
Okay. I'm going to allow any comments from the audience with regards to the presentation, because this is such a hot topic. Does anybody have? Oh, Bill.
Again, Bill Bradstreet, town meeting member, precinct 1. I don't know where it falls under this, but I didn't hear the word yard waste or hazardous waste, and maybe the town can encourage the residents to stop producing so much waste? Just a thought. But I was just curious about yard waste, what happens to it, and hazardous waste, please.
Rob, do you want to go up and address that, please? Thank you.
Rob Dever, DPW Danvers. The yard waste is picked up by our haulers. There is a spot for people to drop off yard waste up there, but it's really Republic's job to get rid of the yard waste. It's not a Covanta. I'd love to stop. We have our household hazardous waste events on our own that we hire companies to take over those, such as Clean Harbors and different companies that do that. But that's not a reworld, that's a Republic. Yes, twice a year. So, you got it.
And just to clarify on that, as Rob was saying, again, we're paying a hauler, we're paying Republic to do that last mile of getting rid of it. So Republic takes the yard waste, and we have to pay them to take care of it. And same for the hazardous waste. We have to find specialized haulers to remove that.
Bill, did you?
And yes, Resilient Danvers is doing a lot of work to reduce waste in general. And so please stay tuned to those updates. We're working right now on, Erica came when I first started, on a composting grant that we've received. So that will be released coming in the spring.
Quick question going back to, should we have our own trash trucks? Just the trash truck, we would pick it up in the neighborhoods, bring it to the same people that are running it now. So then would they be responsible for getting rid of it? And all we'd have is the expense of buying the the trash trucks, having the employees to go around the town picking it up. It maybe just look at that again to see if that's something that's would save us money.
Did you want to, thank you. Rob?
Yeah. So that's the curbside program through Republic. In theory, it could be, whatever the opposite of privatized is, publicized. You know what I mean? Town could take that over. Again, wasn't part of our assessment. In general, towns are getting away from that because of equipment costs, insurance, labor rates, all of that. But, you know, if it was something the town was interested in, something we could look into further.
Excellent. And I just had one other question. I don't know if you answered this. How much does the town bring in annually for tonnage, was it? Did we say?
For everything combined,
Yes.
in 2022, you were at just shy of 78,000 tons. That's on page 3 of the
Okay,
report.
I thought I saw that, okay.
That's a little table with 2022, 2021, and 2020.
And what about like recent?
So that's,
Do we have-
those were the numbers that were available when we originally wrote the report. It's possible DPW has some updated numbers.
Do you know that, Rob? How much does the town bring in annually for tonnage? He has up till 2022. Do you have 24?
Over the years, it hasn't really changed. It's very simple. And again, some of the driving factor for Lavanta is the permit limit.
Okay. Does anybody else in the audience, well, you have any questions right now? Okay, this is a lot of material. You know, when you say we want to do it in the next couple of months, we want to really think about this too.
Understood.
Board members? Right? Yep, more comments? Dee?
Yeah, so and I shared the chairwoman's sentiment that we don't want to leave anything on the table. But do we know how long the contract, if we renew the contract, is it another 5 years? Is it?
Yeah. In theory, it could be longer or shorter.
Go ahead, Rob, go on.
Yeah.
The last one was about 5 years, is that right?
Yeah,
2020.
I've been involved in 10-year contracts with waste haulers, and that was a trend at one point. Now it's down to 5. Some communities do 3. It really is something that during the negotiation part, we would talk
We would
about how
talk
long
ab-
they'd be willing to take a risk for,
Okay.
and how long we'd be ready to take a risk for.
Okay.
So this is a lot of market-driven, and that's what we come up with and try to put in safeguards to minimize that over time.
Okay. And one more question, and maybe this is for the town manager or the chair. What's the ask from the board? Is this more like information to let us know what's happening, where the market is going? But this is something the town manager is going to have to negotiate with DPW and
Yeah.
But it's not due
Yes.
till 28, but they
So-
want to get the ball rolling,
Yeah,
right?
through you to the chair. Yeah, this information or this presentation was really one for 2 reasons. I thought it was important to bring. I guess 3. 1, the report had been done in 2024, and the board had not seen it, so I felt like that was an important piece. Post strike, there were a lot of questions out there, so we had the information, thought it should be here. And 2, we're prepping for budget, and I figured there would be questions. But the role of the board in the next steps, this is it. That there is no further role of the board. The negotiation will go through the town manager's office.
perfect. And you spoke of curbside composting. We will be having a pilot, and
We do.
hopefully the town can start to encourage that a little more.
Yes, and I don't want to get the timeline wrong, so Rob may have more.
One of the things that we're going to start doing, and one of it's by legally, we're going to have to start doing any place that produces so much food has to. So our schools, per se, we're going to have composting there.
Okay.
And that's part of this pilot program we're doing. And then we're going to continue it on residents. And Erica has really been working hard at this and trying to really decrease your food waste is probably the heaviest stuff in your trash. You empty out the plastic, the paper towels. It means nothing compared to wet, gross stuff. So if we can take that out of the waste stream, it really will lower the rate for the town on disposal fees.
Okay, thank you.
Because the tonnage has gone down because of recycles too, right? Our tonnage has gone down of trash because we are recycling too. And now with this new pilot program.
Yes.
it'll be better.
That is the goal.
Yeah.
Is to have everything. Well, it used to be nice because the tonnage of, there was no cost to recycling. We used to get paid for
Not
that.
anymore.
Now there's a cost to it, so.
So we
it's-
open up a recycle facility.
It's,
But it has to end someplace else. It can't end here.
Yeah, laughing.
we have one right across the street up at, at Republic's facility, the old JRM Greenworks, so.
I knew it when it was being built. That was going to be.
Wasn't the purpose of the trash barrels that we all got to reduce the amount of trash that we're all throwing out?
I think everyone should try to reduce the amount of trash we're
Right.
trying to throw out and create, the environmental world, the better recycling that can be reused. And this next step is, for the composting, is really to reduce some.
More trash.
More trash. Well, back in the day, we used to have garbage and then trash. The garbage men would come, pick up your food, bring it to the pig farm. That garbage is now in the waste stream. It weighs a lot. We've sort of gone backwards in the world when it comes to trash. So if we can get that out again and have it processed somewhere else, the fee will go down. But everything comes with a cost, so people are going to have to balance it out.
Do you know if, when we changed over to the barrels that we have now versus people putting out their own trash, do you know what the difference was in trash tonnage?
Tonnage?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, it had to have helped, right?
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. And, one of the reasons we went to those barrels, because everybody's going automated.
Right.
We can't pick up random trash bags and stuff like that. So, and I will tell you, one of the other good things about the new barrels, with the lids on, the rainy days don't matter as much, because wet trash is also expensive to get rid of.
Right.
And rodents.
And while you're up there, would you be able to tell Bill Bradstreet when you're going to start digging out the mill pond? So we get that done.
As soon as he has the money for the permits.
Yeah, I can remember the garbage pails. When I grew up on Brookwood Lane, there used to be in-ground garbage pails
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the back of the
Concrete.
house.
I remember, oh God, we're dating ourselves, God. Right?
Not to dwell on this, I have one more thing. I think even though this probably is not like a select board vote or something, I wasn't on the board at the time, but trash in this town has been a big issue. I think it's important for the board to support the town manager in the negotiation. Not that we'll be in the room, but at least express that confidence in the fact that we are seeing these numbers, and then we're heading toward, maybe trying to find a better bid or somebody that's going to help us run the trash while we pilot curbside composting and see what the trends are and see where we end up. Because we're 2026, it's going to end in 2028. We're talking about 4 years or more just to get a permit. So if we were to go with option 2 or B or C, we might get ourselves in a situation where it's practically not feasible. But I would say when we renew the contract, maybe we may want to really explore all the options like the one that Mr. Beerstead suggested and things like that. But at least we have a good 7 years to think through it, not only with the curbside composting, but also see where the trends are.
In many ways, what the exercise we did with this, I think, is a leap into that. The last contract, we reached out to Waste Management, Wind. We reached out to all of them. Some of those people did not want this town. People like JRM, which is now Republic, and Covanta, and they have facilities in the area. They have trucks in the area. This is a nice little spot for them to work. And those are the people who bid, like when I say bid, put proposals together for us. With all the new trends and us going out, we may look at hiring a company like Weston and Sampson to help us guide us through the upcoming regulations that will help us in the long run to save money. A little bit of upfront cost, but it will save us money in the long run. So,
Yeah.
these guys have been wonderful. I take their advice seriously, and they know more about it than I do.
Thank you.
And this is why I say Danvers is good, because who the heck wants to truck? Those truckers around here go up to Gloucester, no disrespect. No, seriously, this is why this is a good location right here. Competition is good, I'm gonna say that. Not simple, but it can be done. And what do I always say? Death, taxes, and trash, we can't get away from it, right? But any other questions at all, board members? Mike?
I just wanted to make a comment. I don't, and not to go against you, Bill, but I think taking on buying trash trucks to save money on transportation would be a nightmare, because you probably need 5, probably need 4 to get around town, or one breaks. And then in 10 years, when we get them paid off, we'll be replacing them anyway.
Yeah,
Then the people that run them.
The minimum amount of trucks we have in town every day is 5. There's 4, there's 2 automated trash pickups, there's 2 recycling ones, and then we have a packer that goes downtown and picks up the trash downtown, and the smaller one-ways and dead ends, we have a route for a packer. So, and bulky items get picked up in the packer. Then we have to get, for yard waste week, those 2 weeks there that we do yard waste, they bring in 5 trucks. You know, for a Christmas tree, they have
5 more they bring in?
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's more. We would have to lease or hire a company to help us with those events.
Right.
So
The breakdowns and all that stuff. There was a big issue about that pump truck we had a couple of years ago. If we had half a dozen trash trucks, I could see how that would go.
yes,
Yeah, nightmare.
and the new with the cameras and this and that, they're about $2 million, $2.5 million a piece.
I think it's cheaper to subcontract it out.
I didn't do the work, but I'm guessing that's the case. I'm not positive, but again, it's
I mean, I kind of agree with you, too. I mean, maybe not the Republic trash collecting, but the transfer station. We
Well, we
really got to
own it.
take a deep dive into this.
Yeah, we own it. We're not
We
losing
got
it, right?
And you want it. What is, I'm sorry, did I miss the question? The average cost per ton right now in the marketplace?
Was it 125?
No, I think it's,
So 125 was taking the average, which is hovering right around $100 a ton, and escalating that forward to 2028, because we expect that, unfortunately, costs in general tend to go up. So I think you're going to be somewhere in that ballpark. And again, it's an estimation, but yeah, somewhere around 125 come 2028.
okay, great. All I'm going to ask is if any residents that are watching tonight, if they have any more questions about this, to email the town manager or email your select board member, you know, and you guys did a great job, you know.
Thank
Any
you
other
for the
questions?
opportunity to present.
Yeah,
Can you elaborate on where the food is going and how we're going to compost that, where facilities are coming? And what do you expect to save on weight?
It all depends on how many people sign up. The food, Black Earth is the only hauler around here that's set up with the state. So it goes to one of their 2 facilities. I don't know if Brick Ends is collecting from Black Earth or not. But they have a facility down in Gloucester, Manchester. The tonnage guess?
Are they able to handle the tonnage that we want to provide?
That is, they have the permit for it, they feel confident, and do I know that? I don't. I know they've been getting yelled at a little bit here and there, but
And I'll just add that we will definitely report back to the board. First, we'll let you know when they kick off the grant program, because it helps get people set up with the barrels. And once we have some data to bring back, we will absolutely do that.
Can I ask you a question? Sure. On this composting, it will reduce the amount of trash, but is there a cost for the composting versus the less amount of trash? We're not going to get a reduction on cost on trash, I'm sure, but now is there going to be bump
The,
trash fees?
so the goal is to reduce the amount of trash that's coming out of the household and the weight that it is, so that our overall cost for the town to dispose of it goes down. It's a limited number. It's a pilot program to start, so we won't be seeing any significant savings on this. And you also, again, no matter what, the most important thing to remember here that they said is we're not the end point. So whether it's trash, C&D, food waste, recycling, especially recycling, because nobody wants anybody's recycling anymore, we're not the end point. So the cost driver here is always how it gets from Danvers to where it's going. So no matter how convenient Danvers is, if we have to put it on a train to ship it out to Alabama, that's where the cost of the burden is on the town.
So do we anticipate a cost bump with the compost?
I don't think so, but it's a private contract between the homeowner
Homeowner, yeah, it's a volunteer program.
Yeah.
It's only people
who want to.
want to sign up for it will get that number, and there will be a fee assessed on that, the amount of
The
people that
individual?
sign up.
Between
And
their contract is with
The contract is not between
the town.
Black Earth and the town, it's with the homeowner and Black Earth.
Okay.
So, but
So
we're
it's-
going to have to do it, we're going to be mandated to do it for any place that produces so much food, which is our schools, and that's really where we're starting. That will be the cost to us.
Okay.
Madam Chairman, can I add a comment? The state, correct me if I'm wrong, is mandating anybody that creates so much ton, they have to compost, and that is going to lower as time goes on.
I believe that is correct.
Thank you.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, some good conversation here. Bill, go ahead, last one. I know.
A long time ago, when I was young, there was a big push by the town for everybody to put in a mechanical pig so that the waste, a garbage disposal unit, a mechanical pig.
Okay.
That,
They're called pigs. No, just
Yes.
pigs.
that soft waste could be run through it, would end up in the sewer system. The only thing that, like bones and some of that stuff which would not end up there. Does that affect the town for the wastewater or whatever that ends up
That's
over
within our wastewater
to, over to Salem or what, is that a cost to us?
It very much is a cost to us. Everything you put down, it all goes through meters and all goes through that. And if you've ever been over to SESD, I'd suggest it in one of the senses that it's pretty amazing, but it's awful disgusting. But all the tonnage comes out of there, and it's assessed. It costs us. So every solid thing you put down there, we get charged for.
If I can just comment on that. The board will be receiving a presentation on SESD in the upcoming, we haven't scheduled it yet because they have capital needs and plans. But if you think moving trash to Alabama is expensive, wait till you get to hear how we get rid of sludge and where we have to take that solid waste. So if you like this topic, stay tuned.
I'm sure they'll be back, right?
But yes, again, I think the important part is for anybody who really is interested in the topic, there's lots to read about it. Massachusetts, the permitting guidelines are changing rapidly. I think everybody knows mattresses recently, textiles recently. So the economies of trash are just getting more complicated, more expensive, and to me more interesting. So if you want to do the research, there's lots out there to take a look at.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And as I mentioned before, any other questions for the public, they can email their select board member or the town manager. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's see, where are we? The board will consider a vote to accept budget goals and objectives for fiscal year 2027. Everybody have their budget goals and objectives?
If I may, Madam Chair, just to introduce it.
Yes.
So we brought the original draft to the board about a month ago. Thank you for your input. I took the input that we got here in person at the board meeting and made a few changes, including adding at the end the fiscal goals and policies. Thank you, Rodney. In follow-up conversations, some people had mentioned some other things, so if people have additional changes or suggestions, please bring those up tonight. And the other piece I should mention is we did send this to the school committee and the library trustees. We did not receive any feedback. Anything else you want to add, Rodney? Okay.
Okay, Rodney's there for questions. Board members, Dan?
Well, thank you. Rodney, field goals and policies, working back from the bottom, retain a free cash balance of not less than 1% of the annual operating budget. Can you just give us an idea of what that number would look like currently?
Yeah, so again, that's a standard policy we've had, as you know, Dan, going back several years, and roughly it'd be about 1.2 to 1.4 million.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And maintain total fund balances in the aggregate above 15% of the town annual operating expenses. Again, roughly what does that number
So
look
it'd be
like?
15% of, again, roughly 140 million, so, yeah, roughly 21,
How much?
21 million.
21 million, thank you.
Yep.
Just so we have a sense of what these numbers look like.
I'm going to get my calculator app if you can work any
Yeah.
further up.
Come on, Rodney.
No, the others,
Yeah.
that's fine. I mean, a range of 8 to 12%, it's hard to come up with a number, but I appreciate you putting those in.
Absolutely.
I mean, it really spells out what our goals are and what kind of money we're talking about. I don't know if you want, Madam Chairman, I do have a recommendation for a change, if that's
Absolutely.
appropriate.
Yes.
Front page, long-term goals, number 2. I would like to add, after cultural, the words, and I have this written out for you, Jill, and recognize our historical heritage with events. So that paragraph, a sentence would read, provide high-quality and affordable education, recreation, cultural, and recognize our historical heritage with events for residents of all ages, comma, supported by rigorous staff standards, comma, sufficient resources, comma, and well-maintained facilities. And to speak to, we have a great historical heritage in this town.
We do.
I think it should be recognized and put into these goals.
Did you want to change anything else, Dan?
No, that's all. And I have that language written if it's okay with the board to give to the manager.
Dee, did you?
No objections.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Did you want to change anything, or are you all set with this?
No, I'm all set with this. Thank you.
Okay. Mike?
To the town manager, through you, please. Enhance customer focus service delivery through professional responsive.
Can you tell me where you are? Front, back?
Page, am I on the one, first?
First
one?
long-term
First-
goal.
First page, sorry.
Okay. Sorry, I just want to make sure I know where you are.
Long-term
Board
goals.
paragraph.
Yep.
Let's see.
I think that's where he is.
Yeah, so enhance customer focused service delivery through professional, responsive, and friendly interactions across all departments. Like name tags? When do we get them going?
I'm sorry, well, yes, I'm happy to answer that question, but is it relative to the budget goals? Because that's an operational question.
I don't know, it's on a paper in front of me, I'm just asking.
Yeah, I can answer that question. The name tags are not working out that were created, so we have to look into another option, so.
Okay. All right. That's all for now, thank you.
Nothing else? No other changes, Mike?
No, not at the
You
moment.
want to come back? You can. Gardner?
Yes, thank you.
No, I reviewed this a month ago. I thought I'd wanted some changes, and upon reflection, I was okay. I wanted something in here about water, but I decided that that doesn't have to be here. And so, no, I have no other changes, and if there's no others, I'd move we accept this with the modifications that Select
Dan?
Board Member Bennett has recommended.
I'm fine with that, too. Dan, do you want to
So that's my motion. If someone
Motion,
wants to
Gardner
second.
will make that
Recognize or
motion.
recognizing it.
Okay. So you want to say it, Dan? Gardner, I'm sorry. We have a motion on the floor.
My motion is to accept the budget goals as presented with the modifications offered by Selectman Bennett.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
If I, and one second, sorry, Madam Chair, through you, I just, for readability, if we provide high-quality and affordable education, recreation, cultural, and historical events for residents? Or do you want that recognized piece?
Recognize
in?
our historical heritage.
Okay, I just wanted to.
Yep.
Okay.
As it was
Okay.
as presented, right? And God- Okay, and we'll say all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rodney.
all right.
You want this?
So we will do, next, the town manager will report to the board on various items of interest.
Want to stay for the bad news, Rodney?
Thank you, Rodney.
Okay. Pull this up. Oop, that's not- Okay, so thank you, Madam Chair, through you to the members. I just wanted to start by thanking all the town meeting members for showing up and really actively engaging in the special town meeting last week. For me, who's new to town meeting, I was incredibly impressed at the level of deliberation, the courtesy that everybody was extended to each of the members, and how well the town worked together to get it done. I think it's a testament to the town meeting form of government, and I'm very proud to be a part of it. So thank you all for being there. Thank you to the moderator and the finance committee and the select board for all the work you did to get us through that. And of course, the clerk's office, who keeps us all together. So thank you so much as we got through that. The next steps, we're working with the clerk's office and town council to get what we need in order to get to our legislators. So then we'll be working with Representative Kearns and Senator Lovely to move this through the State House. And I'm meeting with them next Monday. So this will be a topic of conversation for us. I'm going to set the stage for budget deliberations as we move into it, and then I promise I'll give some better news at the end. So as folks know, the town manager is responsible for delivering a balanced budget to the select board by March 1st. With the help of Rodney and all of our department heads, you will receive that late at the end of next week. This is my first budget season here in Danvers, but my understanding, and we are working to close a deficit gap right now with some historical perspective from Rodney. I do want to prepare this board for that gap that we are working to close right now is significantly larger than it has been in years past. This is not a reflection on the financial management of the town. It's a reflection of the economy as a whole and the crisis that municipalities are facing throughout the Commonwealth. I sent to you all probably a couple months ago when we were early into these stages, an analysis done by the Massachusetts Municipal Association called The Perfect Storm: Cities and Towns Facing Historic Fiscal Pressures. And that whole report is about how the convergence of these forces, financial and economic forces, are converging on municipalities and really putting most of us, I know very few of my colleagues that are looking at a fun budget year, the external forces are really forcing us to make increasingly tough decisions about services for residents. So if you have not reviewed that report, I recommend town meeting members, finance committee members, select board members in particular, all take a look at that so that it gives you some grounding for the conversation and to know that Danvers is not in it alone. Some of the factors that are affecting the rising fixed costs, such as health insurance, the number ranging, some municipalities, anywhere between 8 and 16%. There was a whole group of communities in Western Mass who initially were passed the budget at like 16%, and then there was an additional increase of 20%. They had to go to the state for help. So health insurance costs are a major driver in the changes. other contracted services, including like special education, transportation, all things that are moving outside, that are growing outside of the range of 2.5%, which is what we, as a municipality, are allowed to work within. The other piece I want to make sure people take a look at, and Rodney will go through when we do our budget presentation, is state aid. Over time, state aid, when you factor in inflation, has been about 0.6% average annual per year. So again, when you have costs rising in the double digits and our state aid is rising at less than 1%. So just want to make sure I hate to be setting a bleak stage for you, especially, and I would much prefer to have my first budget be a fun one, but it is not, and I just want to make sure that the board is prepared in understanding some of the decisions that will be coming forward in the budget. So again, if you need that report, I'm happy to send it back out. For anybody watching at home, mma.org is where you would find it. And they've since done a follow-up on kind of how to navigate the storm. A lot of that has to do with decisions made at the state level, so a little less critical to read prior to the budget deliberations, but wanted to put that out there. I've had some initial conversations with folks in our one-on-ones, and so I'm happy to answer any of those further questions as we get into the process. You'll be receiving the budget at the end of next week, and we will be having our public budget session on Saturday, March 7th. Now I promise I'll get into some fun stuff. So Resilient Danvers initiative, on top of the composting we were just discussing, we are also launching partnering with the Great American Rain Barrel Company for the third year to offer residents high-quality rain barrels at a discounted price of $89 each. Plus, Danvers will rebate the value of up to 2 barrels per household at pickups. So the order deadline is April 12th, and details can be found on our town website. Events that we went to last week, I was joined by our select board chair, our state representative Sally Kearns, our state senator Joan Lovely, Chief Brian Barry, and Deputy Chief Jamie Schaffner at the Essex County Fire Chiefs Breakfast. This is an incredibly useful educational event that they host each year. Most of the matters that they talk about, they really talk a lot about the state legislative matters, but this year they did a really good job of connecting how the municipalities, how it affects municipalities as well. And I think 2 topics of interest for the board chair and myself and the representative who's sitting at our table that we will be working on and talking to the MMA about is moving an Office of Emergency Medical Services from the Department of Public Health, the State Department of Public Health, to the Executive Office of Public Safety. Our EMS first responders work very closely with public safety, and some of the rules around public health are hindering their ability to deliver services in the field. And the second one, which I think is interesting to just about every municipality, is creating a public safety municipal building authority. It's similar to the MSBA is the theory. It would assist in funding public safety building projects, or actually municipal building, but this one's focused on public safety, building and repair projects. We have undertaking a capital project of that size would be pretty debilitating to most communities, and there's not currently another funding source. So there's several bills moving through the state legislature that has gotten more momentum than they have in the past. They've combined the bills and put them, they're sending them out of Ways and Means together. So that's a big movement that we should keep our eye on, knowing Engine 2 building will need some repairs in the future. So we will work on advocating for both of those. The HRIC event, Black Excellence, a tribute to Black film, was originally scheduled for February 7th, but it was postponed due to snow. It's rescheduled for Saturday, February 21st, and details will be shared on our website and social media tomorrow. And the Falcon Fest will host, I didn't know this, the decades-old pancake breakfast tradition on March 7th, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the high school. More information is available on the Falcon Fest website and the town website calendar. So you can go you guys can't, but other people can go get pancakes and then come join us for our public hearings on the budget.
Sounds great. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Jill. Okay, the board will consider consent calendars as they appear.
Move we accept the consent calendar.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And at this time, we'll go correspondence, select board, new business, previous new business, updates, and select board closing comments. Who wants to go first? Mike?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on what the town manager said, that the town meeting was really long and boring as expected, and also had some really great points. People had stepped up and made changes to the Town Manager Act. The people that came up just did a great job. Everybody communicated well. So it went well for a long and boring meeting, but, so I thought it was great. Thank you.
Anything else, Mike?
That's enough.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Dee?
Yes,
tough to
I agree
follow.
with Select Board Mike. It was a really good meeting. I mean, the motion to change some of the things were handled really, really well. Hopefully we get some pancake delivered before on March 7.
We'll see what we can do.
Correspondence, I did get a kudos to DPW for the snow and everything that they've been doing. I hear there's more coming, and I know this is probably a Billboard State question. How are we doing with the snow budget?
Oh, I updated that last week. Sorry. We have overspent the snow budget, but the bills come in post-storm, so they were still figuring it out. But we have overspent the snow budget as to date, and are working to figure out how to balance that out within the current DPW budget. And when we have kind of a sum total, it will come to the select board.
Okay, and I meant to ask earlier, and maybe now, after the strike, we had to recoup some of our money from the public. Where are we with that? If you would.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I don't know if we have the details in front of us because we didn't bring it, but I can say confidently that we did not pay for any services that were not rendered, obviously, and on the other side of that, we're made whole for all the services that we had to provide. So, and speaking with our colleagues, particularly and most recently when we were all together at the MMA, again, Danvers is leading at the front of that, and some of that savings and that will help us get through things like snow deficits going forward. So, we did a really good. In my opinion, Rodney did an incredible job with the help of Rob Dever at negotiating that with Republic. There are many communities still in negotiations.
Okay, thank you.
Danvers took the lead on that with our new town manager and Rodney in the group. Thank you. Gardner?
I just want to mention that I did receive Mr. Bates' email. I want to remind people that when they send email to all of the select board members, we can't respond, and that is for open meeting law purposes. I couldn't, even if I did so individually to Bill and not en masse, it could be considered, we've been guided previously, that could be considered chain negotiation. So if I said, I agree, Bill, and someone else, and two other people said, I agree, Bill, it is a potential violation. I appreciate getting that information. I can acknowledge that I received it, but I can't make a position on any, and I just use you as an example, as the latest example. But I haven't received, other than that, I haven't received any, I have received one correspondence I've discussed with the town manager, and I'm sending that to her about snow removal on a particular piece of property. We'll follow up on that. I would ask, based on your discussion about the budget, when you send out the budget information, can you please send it an Excel version of that budget as opposed to a PDF? And the reason is, Rodney knows I like to play the number crunching game, and I can't do it off a PDF. So just a reminder.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if I may just follow up on the open meeting comment, I should let the board know we have a training scheduled for all boards, committees, and commissions for April 2nd. I don't have the details yet, but on April 2nd, we will be, Murphy, Hesse, Toomey, and Lahine will be offering a board training. They will cover open meeting law. They will cover kind of what is required for public hearings. So some board training so that you guys feel competent in your actions there.
Thank you for letting us know. Can I ask that we consider an agenda on that relating to new business and what guidelines should be on new business, and also on allowing public comment outside a public hearing, and what guidance we probably want to follow, because there are some legalities to that. So if you could add those agenda items, that would be helpful.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
That's a good suggestion, Gardner. That's excellent. Good. Dan, you want to say?
Thank you.
And I'll go back to you at the end.
Yeah, thank you. At our last meeting, we granted a license for a Chapter 10 sale of junk and secondhand articles. And as I was reading through it, and I read Section 5, no person shall purchase, receive, by barter, exchange any article of a minor. And the minor is described as a child under the age of 17, unless the minor is accompanied by an adult. Total tobacco downtown, nobody under 21 is allowed in. We all know liquor stores need to be 21 to purchase alcohol. I'm wondering if maybe we should adopt a age of 21, and I have reasons for it. Under Chapter 10, it was last updated May 19th, 2008. And I'm not going to ask this board to approve or disapprove, but perhaps we could put it on a warrant article. But I'd like to hear what the chief of police, Detective Gaffney, maybe Lieutenant, can't think of his name now, shame on me, to what their thoughts are on changing this to age 21. And there's a lot of issues with young people that have a drug habit, pawning something that's not theirs. And the pawn shops, they take it in because it says you take it in, you got to hold it for 30 days, you got to take pictures or something. But I think too many times, too many minors are getting away with something they shouldn't. It's not good for them, it's not good for society. So if we could ask the chief and maybe Detective Gaffney, and anybody else from the police force, what their thoughts are. Okay, board?
Okay. Anything else, Dan?
Not at this time.
Okay. I want to say thank you to town meeting members. Thank you to the board, my board members too, and the town manager for the other night, special town meeting. I mean, think about it, we made history, right? Hasn't been changed in 30 years.
Do you want this?
I love the professionalism, the courtesy with everybody. I want to thank all town employees, town manager, Madam Clerk, C.R. Lyons and his committee, Pat Frazier, Sally Calhoun and the review committee, really all the residents. Can't thank you enough. Myself being chair for the first year, wow, it's been a lot. But we did it, right? We've done this, we've made history, and we did it the right way. And I want to thank everybody. I did attend the legislative breakfast with town manager and the fire chief and the deputy chief, and it was really great. It was nice to see all the chiefs from the surrounding areas on what they need. Other than that, I want to remind people about the Falcon Fest pancakes and get ready for our budget season. It's going to be good, you know. Thank you. And with that being said, I'll let Dan.
Thank you. This past Sunday, I was at an event, and there was a 94-year-old World War II veteran proudly wearing his cap, and I did thank him for his service and remind everybody when you see a veteran, please thank he or her for their service.
Thank you. Okay, good night.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.